Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be talking about the compounds that make up toothpaste and how those compounds bond together. So in all the time that you brush your teeth, have you ever thought about what toothpaste is made of? I'll be talking about the 5 typical ingredients and why they are in toothpaste. So the first compound is sodium fluoride, and so the chemical formula for sodium fluoride is NaF. So the sodium is the Na and the fluorine is the F. And so this mineral is key to fighting tooth decay, and fluoride makes the enamel of your teeth, the outermost layer, harder and more resistant to acid wear. And so these two atoms are both new elements and we have not looked at them before. So first, let's look at sodium. So sodium will be represented by the green ball. And so sodium was discovered in 1807 by Sir Humphrey Davy. And so next, let's look at fluorine. So fluorine will be represented by the orange ball. And so fluorine was discovered by Henry Moissan, a French chemist, in 1886. So, let's look at how sodium fluoride bonds together. So, as you can see here, it's very simple. Just one bond in between both atoms. And so let's look at the sodium. So why it only had one bond? So the sodium is in group 1, and I've explained in the previous video, because it's in group 1, just like hydrogen, it only needs one more bond to fill its valence shell, because the first valence shell only needs two bonds, meaning it has one extra bond. And so the fluorine is in the 7th group, so one group away from the last group, the noble gases, or group 8, meaning it also only needs one bond to fill its valence shell, meaning it's perfect as they both only need one bond, so it's a very simple compound. And so the next compound is glycerol. And we have looked at glycerol in the previous video with hand sanitizer. But once again, the chemical formula for glycerol is C3H8O3. And so this ingredient keeps the toothpaste from drying out, and it also gives it consistent texture and helps it glide smoothly from the tube. And so when glycerol is not used in toothpaste, glycerol can also be added to processed foods such as yogurt, pre-cooked rice and peanut butter. And I've already talked about glycerol in the previous video about hand gel or hand sanitizer and how it contains hydroxyl groups, meaning it had one oxygen atom and one hydrogen atom bonded together. So here for example, or here for example. And so because there are many hydroxyl groups, it is a polyol compound. And so next we have calcium carbonate. And so the chemical formula for calcium carbonate is CaCO3. And so calcium carbonate helps remove plaque, debris and surface stains. The combination of calcium carbonate and the scrubbing motion of your toothbrush cleans the surface of your tooth. There's the reason your teeth feel so smooth and clean after brushing. They can also help your smile whiter. And so calcium is an atom that we have not looked at, and so calcium will be represented by the metal-like ball. And so calcium was also discovered by Sir Humphrey Davy, the same person who discovered sodium. And so calcium was discovered in 1808. And so the final compound is sodium lauryl sulfate. And so the chemical formula for sodium lauryl sulfate is NaC12H25SO4. And so the SO4 is a molecule inside of the compound. And I've already talked about this previously. And I've also talked about in another video how you can substitute them in a chemical equation. And so this ingredient is a detergent, creating a bubbly foam-like in soap and shampoo. And so the new element, or the atom, which is sulfur here, was discovered by Antonio Lavoisier, the same person who discovered carbon, and so sulfur was discovered in 1777. And so we've already looked at how sodium has one bond to this oxygen atom because it's in group 1 and it only needs one bond to fill its valence shell, because the first shell only needs 2 bonds. And so this sulfur, and you may be thinking, well, it's in group 4, why does it doesn't only need to have 4 more? Yes, but this is a different isotope of sulfur. And so this sulfur has 6 bonds, has one bond to this oxygen atom, one bond to this oxygen atom, meaning it has two, and two double bonds to two different oxygen atoms in total, meaning it has 6 bonds with 4 other atoms, and 2 of those atoms have double bonds. And I've already talked about how carbon bonds. Carbon has 4 bonds. Let's take this carbon atom for example. This carbon atom has 2 bonds to 2 different hydrogen atoms, and 1 bond to a carbon atom and another bond to a carbon atom. And once again, the hydrogen atom is in group 1 as well. So like the sodium, it only needs 1 bond. So here, this hydrogen atom only bonds with the carbon atom. And so that's how you bond sodium, Lauryl, sulfate. And so those are all the compounds that make up toothpaste.